What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Retro Matador Live Podcast.
What's up? What's up?
What's up with it, my friend? My friend, we have some movies to review, don't we?
We have not quite a few. We only have two today. But it's still the mega movie review day. So let's mega movie review some movies.
We're gonna almost make a review some movies. We got two flicks that we're gonna talk about today. The first being Fear Street Part 2. Was excited for this one, rightfully so. And then we're gonna hit Black Widow. Black
Yep.
Widow and the worst MCU villain of all time. Maybe.
But we'll get to that. But definitely let's hop into the Fear Street Part 2, 1978. So last time we talked about Fear Street, I actually said it was a three-part book. Actually, I was mistaken. It's 100 series books, different movies they can go off of if this continues to go. So we have a lot of different stories we can branch into with the Fear Street saga of R.L. Stein. But
That's
this
pretty cool.
second one, yeah, man, I would definitely say the second one was interesting, and I want to hear from you and how you feel about it because this is definitely your set of horror. This is your air, and I just want to know how you felt about it first.
I like how you say it's my error, as if I grew up in that time.
No, but you know more classic '80s horror films than most people I know. You and DJ Barricas definitely are two people that have put me on to some crazy '80s horror films.
I got you. We're old. I get it. Thanks. So, let's talk about Fear Street. I think we discussed in the first review about part one, my excitement for this follow up, this sequel, this second part of a trilogy. Um, I think it's a good transition. We're going backwards in time, so we're telling a story from the perspective of like here's this flashback,
Mhm.
and I think that was pretty cool. To go to the 70s, I think what Fear Street's doing really well, and I said it the first time, is they're taking time to make me feel like I'm there in that time
Yeah,
without shoving like every Easter egg of that time in my face.
yeah,
So it just like lets me think about the characters living in that time and not have any distractions from it. Um, I think the movie, I personally enjoyed it because of the camp, you know, that same that same feel you get from slasher movies like Jason and stuff. It really kept that aspect of it. Yes, we talked about how there's the witch and there's the curse and these things are like invincible and all this extra stuff. But for the large part of the movie, like it kind of yes, it's discussing that, but more so it's like dude's just possessed and he's Jason and he's coming for y'all. So you don't feel like it's this supernatural stuff the whole time. You just see like big dude chopping y'all up. Makes sense.
and that's what I liked about that is he was just possessed. The witch possessed him, and it this time in this second one it actually shows the actual the witch take control of the nicest person at the camp. He was the biggest counselor, but they also described him as the nicest dude there. Super sweet, super helpful, and you slowly saw him just slowly deteriorate into this Jason like being, and it's like man, like you kind of felt bad for him in a sense. You know what I mean? Like I liked how they took that and worked with that, but also I would like to say it also kind of reminds me of Sleepaway Camp in a sense, not
Yeah.
just all Jason. Um, you had the bullies picking on Ziggy the entire time, and that's kind of the plot of Sleepaway Camp. All the bullies are picking on Angela, and there's a killer on the loose and they think it's Angela or they think it's someone around Angela. But we're not gonna. We'll do sleepaway camp later, but
Hey, yeah, we should
definitely,
definitely do a show just about camp killing.
yeah, we should definitely do a summer camp slasher horror
Yeah,
review.
that'll be cool. Cause there's a few we can watch. We can watch Sleepaway Camp. We can watch Friday the 13th. Obviously, we can also watch. What was it, The Final Girl? Like
Yes,
you
the final
get.
girl.
So yeah, I think we can have a pretty cool lineup for that for sure. Um,
Definitely.
yeah. So yeah, he devolved as we went along. Like as he got closer, you learn more about what the witch's curse is, because again they thought they figured out how to solve the curse, and then you figure out that it's well, we're dealing with, we didn't put everything back situation. So now we have the second piece to our stuff, which we'll get into. um, but yeah, I really like the build up in this movie. Again, they have a really good balance of comedy in there, and then combined with like the actual scary stuff that happens. I won't say that any part was like jump scare.
No.
Like it doesn't. It didn't give me the full on like, oh shit, Jason's like, like my heart wanted to stop. None of that happened. But they did a wonderful job with the kills.
Oh, they killed kids. I was just about to say, like, they murdered children, like with no hesitation. Like, I thought it was gonna be just camp counselors within this series. They were murdering children.
Yeah, full
So,
on Anakin Skywalker.
like when you were saying, like, I agree with you. There was no like, oh shit, like jump scare moment, but there was the moment where I had to think after the second or third child. I was like, oh.
It's like, yeah, the curse is like, there's no mercy. There's
No.
no mercy with the curse. The curse is gonna kill everybody, and it breaks all the rules. It breaks all the rules because, I mean, you're not supposed to kill virgins. You're not supposed to kill little kids, and obviously the nerd boy, unless he got lucky, like,
He murdered not just the little nerd. He was like 13, and then
oh
there
my
was like
gosh, it was
four
sad.
kids. There was four kids in a cabin that he randomly just. I was like, oh my gosh, what? But he was. But did it feel like the longer it went on, it felt like he got bigger, or he just got more more menacing, and his steps got heavier. Like he was
Yeah, he's
becoming the beast.
yeah. It was definitely a cool transition because yeah, at first he just kind of looks like he's mad, and then it just becomes like, yeah, I'm the deranged killer. I mean, they did a great job with them. I knew I liked that one the most so far, like of all the killers, and I mean, he just take it away, like going from just the good guy to potato sack, like all of that was really cool.
But the witch part, I feel like you said, uh, we do we do go back to 1978 from the beginning. Not the beginning. The beginning is the third movie, but the first movie ends with the brother and sister going to talk to the girl who survived 1978, which is Ziggy. We follow Ziggy and her story between her and her sister throughout Camp Nightwing.
Spoilers, sorry, y'all.
Throughout Camp, not I'm not going too much into spoilers, but we follow her going into Camp Nightwing with her sister in that summer. So we already talked about the killer, but we kind of want to talk
Oh,
about the witch aspect.
that
How did
was
you
a
feel?
spoiler. You said it's Ziggy. That's supposed to be
It's
the
in the title.
twist.
It's in the trailer. So if you haven't seen the trailer, I'm sorry, but but definitely, how did you feel about the witch aspect? We already talked about the slasher aspect. How did you feel about the paranormal witch aspect of Fear Street Part Two? And let be honest, like go ahead and
Well, I'm fine with it. I think that setting it up as a curse, like it's a good way to tell your story. They do it in all kinds of stuff. Think about like Cabin in the Woods. Cabin in the Woods is like, it literally talks about,
Wow.
look, here is all the different things that sets off these specific killers, that sets off these specific events. And I think that it's important for us to understand that there has to be a reason why there's a Jason. There's what do you call it, from Sleepaway Camp, and you know
Angela and
yeah,
a
and
Scream.
yeah, there has to be a reason. Not, it doesn't always have to be a motive, but it just has to be the reason why stuff's happening. And in this case, the only explanation to turning him into a killer is that. So for that, it works. Now, I think it's really really cheesy. It's pretty bad. Like, if you think about the way that it's going, yes, they found the body accidentally, and then they try to bury it to solve all their problems. It didn't work. And then on this, we find out, okay, they find the hand. All that was cool. Until where they refound the hand. Like, I think that was the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Um, yeah, I mean, I just think that there's a line to, like, oh, you can take this seriously to get more into it, right? You can suspend your disbelief a little bit more until they do, like, really stupid shit like that. Then
Yeah.
that, like, takes me out of it a little bit, and I need the full experience for me to be like, oh, this is a really good horror movie. I think they're great, but, like, that's what stops it from being next level to me.
I have a question. Do you think it's too short maybe because at the end it feels like they did try to wrap it up really fast, and I feel like I kind of agree with you on the hand aspect because it came out of nowhere at the very end.
Right.
So, do you think if we had about 20 more minutes it would fulfill that gap that you're talking about, or maybe even 10 more minutes to
I,
add to that part of the story?
I mean, I think, movies try to retell your story in a new light, new secrets that you didn't know. Like, they're setting it up, right?
Hmm.
For the trilogy, because in the third movie, you'll find out things that you were wrong about from the beginning, right? Like, it's just a part of the way that it works. The problem is not time to me, because I'm fine with, you have to put the hand back together with the body. I'm
Hmm.
fine with, they found the hand, and now I need to connect that information with the new information from the first movie, which is where the body is. Right, now I can combine that. I'm good with that. The problem is, there's this tree where the shit accidentally fell into the hole where they thought the body was, and turns out, 26 years later, or no, sorry, 16 years later,
Yeah.
um, yeah, in the mall, the tree is there, and they left the dirt where the hand was to, like, build it up into this little fountain tree thing. So it's like they literally left the dirt
Well, they
where
built
the
the
hand was.
mall.
No, Elijah, they put a wall around the dirt where the hand was. Like, they could have dug and got the hand when they built the mall. It was literally right there, but it was just enough space. Like, they made like a big planter in the middle of
Yeah.
their mall, and the hand was just there. That is the dumbest shit ever. Like, I get, okay, in they it made it a landmark or some shit, right?
Yeah, they built the mall around the tree.
But for that planter to be wide enough, to be perfect enough to where the hand is still right there, that's
That is
ridiculous.
true.
That's ridiculous.
With all that construction and
Yes, that is
everything,
ridiculous. That is the
like
dumbest shit. So, like, to me, it would have made more sense. Like, oh, the hole was like under the tree, because then it's like, okay, it's in the tree. I can deal with that because the tree ain't moving, but the dirt around the tree, and they dug a hole that wasn't that far away from the. They
they
made
could
this
have
planter. I'm just, the
they
planter killed it.
they kind of could have pulled a Jumanji, when they buried the Jumanji chest when Alan found it, it was like in a wall because of the construction and stuff. So they could have done that, but they didn't take that option. They just said, "Fuck it." They built them all around the tree.
Yeah, and that to me again, like it's not. It doesn't ruin the movie. The movie is great, and at this point, it doesn't matter. You're trying to tell your story. Like I'm not like mad at the series because they did that with the tree. I'm just saying like this movie so far is so good to me that it has potential to be one of our better horror movies, that I've seen in a very long time, and that stops me from crossing that line all the way. Like I'm right there on the line. Like how they do this third part, I feel like it's probably going to be the most cheesy out of the three because you're taking it to a time where everything is inherently funnier because they're so old school. So it's going to be like you're laughing because they're acting more like characters rather than just being
Yeah.
regular people like themselves. Because we're going to see most of the cast just return to play alternate people in that timeline.
Which is how are we I understand how we're getting there. We don't want to spoil that, but like it's just going to be interesting on how to watch that play out. Like I'm actually confused on how the third movie is going to work. I'm excited for it, but confused.
Right. To me, it's just I don't know. I think you're just imagining that that's how they look, so we can associate faces to them and not have to have new actors play those parts. They're not going to be related to the people who are in the future. Like
They could be.
that's not what I think. Though I like I can see like okay the final girl from the first one, like she could be related to the witch. That's why she's like got a connection or something. I get that. But I'm talking about like the rest of the characters, the ones that are her friends. Like they're just playing different roles. They're not like related to that character. They're all just friends over time. That would be dumb as hell. Like, oh, your parents were friends of each other just like we are. That don't do that. That's gonna be garbage. Please don't. Just let them be different characters. They're just being played by these actors, and I'm with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely interested in seeing the conclusion with all of this. And to be honest, if like they said, there's 100 books, they could do another 3 stories of Fear Street and just name them different titles.
Yeah, I'm with that. I mean, to be honest, all this is the titles are the dates. So
Yeah, but
they didn't call it anything. They just said Fear Street this year, this year, this year. I mean, they could just keep going different years. And it wouldn't matter. They'd just be like, all this stuff happened at a different time.
yeah,
Same universe.
same universe, different time, different killers, different stories. I'm very into it, interested. It's to me, it's the adult Goosebumps because it's from R.L. Stein, and Goosebumps used to scare the shit out of me. Um,
Dun, dun,
so,
dun, dun, dun.
but I wouldn't say this is scary like Goosebumps was. If you bring that mask in, yo, it's a wrap.
It was really cool though. It was really cool.
You bring that green mask in, it's over, man. That's scary.
So overall, you're digging the series.
Yeah, so far, Fear Street chapter one or part one, part two, really good. There are flaws, like you said, and like you pointed out, like the tree thing, for instance. And maybe I feel little things are a little too short.
Right.
Um, but we'll see. We'll see how this third movie pans out. It'll be the conclusion, and we'll have our full wrap up and discussion next week on Fear Street. So I'm excited. Fear Street, what, part three?
Yeah.
1666.
Yeah. Devil's extra holiday. Man, yeah, no, it'll be good. Um, yeah, so far, I mean, to me, I like this one better than the first one. I'll
Oh,
say that. I like the first one. I like the first one, but I did like this one better.
more
I,
kills.
the kills were amazing. Oh man, you like to see people get murked, hacked up, dudes, dome split straight open.
Bro, he hacked those people. Like
That was
we said,
great.
the first one had good kills. This was
Yeah,
murder
if you don't want
central.
your kids watching that kind of stuff, do not let them watch it because they don't pull any punches or
I
any
think he
axe
murdered.
hits.
He had to have murdered like in the double digits that night.
Yeah, I think he hit a pretty good kill count. Now that you mentioned it, we'll have to go count the kills and see how many he did get.
He
Because
had to
it's
have.
right up there with Slasher. I mean, you think about Friday the 13th and the mom, she killed about, what, like eight?
He killed 8 that night, and then Jason in the second one.
He probably
Well,
only topped that by like one, so it's not like a lot. I think their kill counts are just kind of over exaggerated over
yeah,
time. Like, if you gotta just go look at the number. So I'm sure somebody has a list.
yeah, but Jason, I know in Jason in part two, Jason didn't get that much because remember the counselors went to the bar, so
He
some of
was
them.
real clumsy too, which we'll get into when we do a whole week of Friday 13th. We'll do a special where we go through all those. Oh man,
But overall, Feel Street's great. I like it. You feeling it?
yeah, yeah. I think it was really good. Like I said, to me it's a B plus. That's what I was saying. To me it's almost an A. I really enjoy these movies, and to get a B plus, I mean that's to me it's saying it's one of the higher B movies,
Yeah,
right? Like I give it a lot of respect. I think they're doing a great job. The characters are cheesy, but not so far where I just don't like them. Like they're well rounded. I'm with it. I'm ready for the third chapter, finale to our trilogy, and you know I look forward to it. We'll see
just
it.
don't fumble it. Literally, we we
I mean,
we have like what 2 more days. Like,
yeah,
please.
just hook it up, man. Hook it up. I'm sure they did a
So
great job.
we're gonna dive into the next movie of our discussion today. I feel we have different opinions on this movie.
Well,
Black Widow.
oh, you mean our return to the MCU, except it's before Agent of Ultron.
No,
So
it's
we're
right after Civil War.
is it
It's based right after Civil War before she goes on the run with
with
Cap.
Cap?
Yeah, so it's
So is it,
right
oh,
after.
okay, I don't know the damn timeline anymore. Anyway, so here's a movie that's bringing you new things that's happened a really long time ago compared to everything else that's happening right now and relevant to the universe. So while we've taken time to learn about our Avengers and their friends, with all the different shows that we have a movie that does absolutely nothing to further that stuff except for the Easter egg at the very end. So that's fine, right? The movie to me overall, I enjoyed it. I had an enjoyable experience. Now, granted, there was a lot of things that I didn't like about the movie, and we can go into that. But I'll reserve my judgment until after. What do you think of the movie?
Um, I uh, I tried. I tried, and I don't want people to be mad at me. I tried. Um, it's good. Florence Pugh is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I really want her to be the next Black Widow.
Makes sense.
Um, David Harbour. I would love to see the Red Russian come back, or Red Guardian. I'm sorry. I would
Red
love to see the Red
Guardian.
Guardian come back. I would love to see Iron Maiden come back. Rachel Weisz. She's been in our life since The Mummy.
Oh
So
yeah, Evie.
they did amazing, but I feel with this movie there was no stakes because we knew what was going to happen to Natasha in the end. So it felt like let's throw every action-packed thing that we can in this movie, but we knew she wasn't going to die because we know how she dies later on, and I'm not spoiling anything because it happens in Endgame.
Yeah, that's true.
This has nothing to offer to the MCU, and I'm sorry. And I like where they were going from. Light spoiler with the trafficking technically the Red Room was trafficking women. I like the sense of let's take down that trafficking of women. I
Yeah.
understand where they were coming from, but I'm sorry. It's good to the normal, but you can't do Taskmaster like that. The way they I'm sorry, dude.
Oh wait, you mean Taskmaster from Marvel, from
The
from Marvel,
greatest one
Marvel
of the greatest
Comics.
villains. Yeah, one of the great not even villains, one of the greatest mercenaries of all time. One of the men that can go toe to toe with the Avengers. One
I,
with photographic memory
I,
who can
you couldn't tell.
anything.
You couldn't tell. You couldn't tell. Yeah, you touched on a lot of good things. The actors in this movie were great. The action in the movie was great. There was a lot. Like I said, you basically said what I said in another way, where this movie is so out of place and it offers nothing except for the Easter egg at the end. I was like,
Yeah.
the movie should have come out right after Civil War. It would have been epic. This is the greatest way you could tell her story. You just told it at the wrong time because y'all didn't want to give her the movie in the first place. So let's talk about how they fumbled that altogether because this so-called movement that they're doing is like 5 years too late. So they should have done this and gave her movie because her movie was badass. Like
Yeah.
that it should have been, right? It should have been. She should have had this and then it would have meant way more. Like it meant a lot in an end game when she dies, but it would have been even better because we would have had this like bigger understanding of Black Widow, bigger understanding of her character, and we could have felt her character. And you want to give me that after you've already killed her, like, and it's just ass backwards. And
That's what I'm
I understand prequels, but you don't do this one. This one was not an origin so much was like just her independent movie, and you should have gave me this before any of the Avengers stuff. Like
that's
you
what
set
I
up the other
agree with you.
characters.
That's what I'm saying. Her death would have meant more because you would have known while she was on the run through this entire time with the Sokovia Accords that she was out freeing, imprisoned women. And her death was to not only free those women, it was to free and help her family out in the end. It would have made much more sense.
Yeah, and I'm glad she got the movie. I'm glad she got the celebration because well deserved. Scarlett Johansson did a great job, and she did go from, everybody just ogling her to like serious as a part of the Avengers. Like she went from cocking her gun when everybody else is all superpowered, like, as if that was going to do anything in the first Avengers to this moment where, yeah, I believe that her cocking her gun would be useful because of what she's capable of. You just needed to give me this a long time ago. But, we talked about that aspect of it. We can move to back to Taskmaster. So you already made it clear that you don't like it, and I'm right there with you because I've come to this understanding a long time ago. When it comes to villains, if your name ain't Magneto or you're not a part of the Spider-Verse, Marvel does not know how to tell you a story about a villain. Every villain of the MCU besides Thanos was sorry as hell. That is 100% fact, and you only can say Winter Soldier because he's awesome. Aside from that, Killmonger, I give them that. Outside of those I can't say.
There's a small group of good
Every Iron Man
MCU
has
villains.
trash villains, and he's their best character for the MCU. He's the greatest. He's the GOAT. Thor had trash villains.
Yeah.
Captain America had one good villain.
He only had one villain.
Yeah, the other villain was Tony Stark, and that wasn't a good. Anyway, that's a different review. I, you don't need to talk about how he knew his daddy was getting murked and didn't say nothing because his homie did it. Anyway, I think this is just another one of those moments where it's like, I don't respect it. I can't. I cannot. I don't care that you turned the Taskmaster into a woman.
Thank you.
I
That's
do
why people
not
are getting
care
mad.
about that.
People are getting mad.
There's a
because
ton
they're
of
like,
people
"Oh,
getting mad that he can't
you're-
be a chick because that's
It-
not who he is in the comics. Like,
It doesn't matter."
we're literally watching Loki with a woman Loki.
Well, Lady Loki's in the comics, but
She is, but for this series, that's him. It's a variant. It's still the same character. It's a crocodile, and everybody fucking loves it. So if you don't
Yeah.
like woman Taskmaster, kiss the fattest part of my ass. Like,
These are facts.
that does not matter. That is fine.
These are facts. It doesn't matter that it's a woman. Let's get that out the way.
That's awesome that it's a woman, but it's also terrible that you did the character like this. The character was straight up garbage. You said, and we said it in the title, we said it here. You've told me you think this is the worst villain in the MCU.
Yes.
Tell me why.
Because, bro, Taskmaster is one of I wouldn't say the greatest. He's one of the most challenging villains that the Marvel Avengers have ever had to come across. This man has photographic memory. He can remember every fight style, everything that you do. It's not a computer like they have in the movie that synchronizes everything. It is legit his memory and his ability. And he injects himself with a superhero serum to enhance his abilities just a little bit more, to put him on. He can single-handedly fight them. He can. And they reduced the Taskmaster to a mind-controlled computer. We've seen X2 already. We've seen that. You've given me that plot. I like X2 20 years ago.
That's not it. That's not it. Like, yes, that's it, but that's not it. You know what it is? You know what this is? This is Deadpool. X-Men Origins. This is the same character. It is the same exact character. Scarred.
This is Galactus from
Shit Cloud Eater. Okay, Deadpool. Everybody know who Deadpool is. They think they know now. If you didn't watch the comics, they watched these last movies and they're, oh, I know Deadpool. Well, you didn't know Deadpool because you thought Deadpool was an X-Men Origins. It was garbage. You take a character who needs to talk and you shut him up. You take a character who is great because he can do all these things and you ruin it by trying to make him more like Wolverine than he's supposed to be, and then giving him ridiculous things to do, and then saying he's actually just a computer, mind controlled, stupid. Like, we created a machine. We created this thing that's not actually like the character. Same thing. Scarred face.
with Taskmaster, all they could have had it to where at this point the main villain, Dreykov, hired Taskmaster to train the new mind-controlled Black Widows as an army, because that's what Taskmaster does in the comics. He trains armies to fight the Avengers. You have Taskmaster train these new brainwashed Black Widows, and then you have this secret, if you want to, secret cybernetic Black Widow for the end. You don't have it as Taskmaster.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I mean, you're even stretching it to me, because I mean that shit at the end, that's dumb. But yes, Taskmaster, all the things you said, you're absolutely right. He's got way more depth, way more to him than what they gave us with her. Like, if you're gonna turn it into a woman and try to be like, this is a movie about women, then you should have made Taskmaster badass, so that
So
everybody could respect a female villain. Like, you did this and then like chopped the balls off literally of the character, like not just physically like changing them. You took away what made them awesome, and they give us crap to try to tell us that it's happening in the movie, but it doesn't happen. The whole point of Taskmaster being able to learn everybody's abilities, what makes him harder to fight. It's like, was it Metallo? You know, he's just
yeah,
copying their moves, and then it's like you can't stop them because that's their moves. And then I had to figure out how you defeat that. Well, I got to think like this is what I would do, and then make that happen. Like, you know, that you find a way, right? Like there's this aspect to things, but like all they said was he knows he knows all the moves of your friends. Obviously talking about the Avengers. Tell me one time that he did a move that was like Iron Man. Tell me one time that he did a move that was like the Hulk. Tell me one time that he did Thor. None of those things
he
happened.
he did do a Black Panther and a Spider-Man move, or she did. I'm sorry, she did a Black Panther and a Spider-Man move and a Captain America move.
Well, Captain America, because he's throwing a shield, not it didn't look like how Cap throws the shield. I'm sorry, like you need to take that step further and say he's photo copying, so he's doing it literally the way that they do it, so that way I can see that character doing it. It's just happening through Taskmaster. That's what's supposed to happen here. That is what the character is supposed to be. He's supposed to be able to do your move exactly. So it's like if he fought with Goku and Goku did the Kamehameha, he would do the Kamehameha because he could learn how to do it because he just saw it. That's
He
his
just
ability. It's his ability. I know what you just did. I can see it and I'm going to copy it. The same thing. He's watching these videos and he throws a shield that looks nothing like Captain America. I'm sorry, it does not. It doesn't look like when Cap throws a shield. And that's the problem to me. Like, he's not just another character doing his own thing. He's a character that's copying everybody's moves and their fight styles. That he should be doing the things, and they should be really amping that up to it. Like, yes, they got into a fight on that bridge, and then it's like, oh well, Black Widow's kind of hanging with him, but then it's like, but I know all your moves, so then I outclass you, and you get fucked up because you weren't expecting that, right? Like
yeah.
I get that, but then you keep building it. It's like, well, you figured out the Black Widow part, but you forgot, like, I also am Cap. This is how I'm going to beat you. And you basically tell this story and build him up so good that when Black Widow beats him, Black Widow
her,
defeats
her.
the. Well, her. I'm saying it's Taskmaster because the way they called it until the end, until the reveal, they're like, oh, it's him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the whole
Yeah,
time, like, you're supposed to take that as a like, oh my god, surprise! Like, I didn't even care because the character sucked.
yeah.
The the whole point is you build it full up, so when Black Widow defeats her, Black Widow defeated the Avengers. That's why she's called and belongs on the Avengers.
That is a way better movie, fam. Thank you for saying, yo. That's why the fuck you ain't in the writing room on this shit.
Dude, I mean these people are professional. Like that's why we can criticize them because, oh, I can't write either. But I mean it's logical. It makes more sense, and you build the character up. You make Taskmaster so badass that it means something when the the character beats her. Like that's literally wrestling. That's the same. That is what separates good wrestling from bad wrestling. Storytelling, and it's the same thing when it comes to movies. If you
And I
don't build up the big bad, then why do I care that you beat him?
exactly, and I agree because another thing that I think they could, a small thing, it can it if they didn't do what you described, because what you described is a way better movie. But what I was thinking was, even as a post credit scene, you have Valentina, because you know she's getting her special ops team together. We've seen her in Falcon Winter Soldier. We know this is Lady Hydra. She's getting a team together. Maybe the Thunderbolts. We don't know. Uh, but we know she's recruiting people. Why didn't she just go to Taskmaster at the end now that Taskmaster is free from this mind control and still may have these abilities and say, hey, I need you to come train my special ops team for her Dark Avengers team? It would, just like you said, it would make sense. Taskmaster's going off to train her own Avengers team to fight against maybe the new Avengers.
Dude,
They dropped the ball.
Taskmaster was reduced to the weakest Black Widow of all the widows.
The weakest villain of the MCU in general.
Yeah. I mean,
Most cooler than him. And okay, all the Ant-Man villains are cooler than Taskmaster, and those villains suck.
yeah, I feel you. I think we got your screen frozen, bruh. Let me double check. I think connection issue. Should be good.
But I mean, other than that, the movie was good. I'm not gonna dog on it too much because again, at the end of the day, Black Widow brought the money back to the movies. Opening weekend, domestically, she made $80 million, and worldwide, she made $210 million in and counting. She's gonna make $1 billion. Marvel brought the money back.
Yep, sure did. I think again, it's a great movie. It just come out at the wrong time. It's a great movie that could be one of the best movies if the villain would treated properly. You had the right villain for her and you had the right surprise, but like make it count cuz that alone will not let you in the top of the MCU for one and superhero movies in general. Again, I had a great time. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to do it with something behind it. You had to make me care about the Taskmaster, and I really didn't.
I
Every
still don't.
time, because me and Holly watched, and the whole time, oh, there he is, here he comes, fucking shit up, and then it's like, but it wasn't really great when he came out. Like it was just like that anticipation, like I'm ready for it, and then. But I knew this was gonna happen, Elijah. His design alone
Oh,
turned me
you
off.
called it. You called it from jump when well, I can't remember where we were, but I remember we were together when his design dropped, and that was the first thing you said. Literally, the first thing you said was, "He's gonna be dog shit."
Yeah, this is gonna be trash. I mean, I'm sorry. I get you want to make your own versions of the costumes and stuff, but that's too far away. For the way the Taskmaster looks, and telling me you could give me Red Skull, like the way he looked, like you can give me accurate villains and they still work in the universe. Like that's the point. Should have gave me an accurate villain. As soon as they made him all techie, you already knew something was up. It's hey, costumes matter, bro. Costumes
They do.
matter. Costume design matters, and we see that with Loki. You get to see all the different costumes, and it's great. We
These are
love,
fact.
we love the classic Loki. He's just
Yeah,
wearing tights. It's I don't care if he's wearing tights if it's comic accurate. I'm good
yeah,
with that. I don't need to take his outfit seriously. Can he
yeah.
do the shit? Can he raise his hands up and charge up his power so much that he distracts the shit from taking them fools out for just long enough? Yes. That's amazing. That's all I care about with comics. That's all I care about is can they do the stuff they need to do? How they look because they're looking like their comic counterparts, like
Yeah.
that's important and you got to follow that rule. They didn't do that shit here, and I mean, the looks matched the details. Dog shit.
Damn. Well, that was our review of definitely the interesting Black Widow. I definitely still say check it out. I'd give it 7 out of 10, maybe
Yeah,
B
I'm with you.
minus.
I'm with you on that. It's not the worst MCU movie. It's it
It's not
might
the
be the
greatest.
is she the worst villain of the MCU? Definitively.
I'm not saying this because it's a woman. I'm saying this because they could have done Taskmaster the correct way and it still could have been a woman. I'm saying this because that's not Taskmaster, and don't you ever call that person That's an imposter. So
He's
no.
worse than the Mandarin.
Yeah, but they get to redo the fucking Mandarin. You can't say I'm gonna redo Taskmaster, then I'm gonna call horse shit on Marvel.
Worse than the Mandarin. He's worse than um, Ironmonger. He's worse than Whiplash.
Can I say at least Ironmonger gave us the line Tony Stark built this in a cave
Listen, Jeff Bridges is awesome.
with a
That's just
box of scraps.
the character Ironmonger was trash though. Oh my gosh! But man, I was trying to think. I was trying to think. Who else
And
is
it's
in it? Who else is in there that's trash? Ego.
like I said, Ghost, uh, not Wasp. What's his name? Hornet. Oh, not Hornet. Yellow Jacket. Why did I say that? Yellow Jacket.
Oh man,
Uh, it's who else? They're all the elves, the dark elves
the
from
Dark
Thor.
Elves. Are you talking about the Doctor Elf?
That was bad.
Oh my gosh! See, the thing is though, y'all, those movies, villains that we named, come from a variety of the major characters in this universe, and it's hard because a lot of those villains don't have depth to them anyway. They're boring characters. This just so happens to be their gallery of rogues, in the MCU. These characters, I mean, that's why they weren't as popular as they were. Anyway, then you have this movie, which is great. The movie's great. And then you put a villain that should be great and turn it to shit. I mean, you have so much ammunition, that's why DC does it better.
And we're gonna have people that's like, oh, da, 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 da. So let's not get started. But overall, definitely go check out Black Widow because you have to. If you're 20 years, like we are, not 20 years, but 11 years deep into the MCU, you might as well. It's good. We're not hating on it. We just feel the Taskmaster could have been done a different way. But
So
overall,
it's okay.
still a good movie.
Multiverse of Madness, we'll fix that, my friend. We can hope that all the characters that we really want to see come out just because of that. Because you gotta find a way to erase this, can't you? Please,
Please.
please.
Oh man, but it was definitely good doing these reviews with you today, Matador. We definitely have we already have a great lineup next week. We have Gunpowder Milkshake, which already came out today. We have Fear Street Chapter 3, the final conclusion. And we finally get to watch A Quiet Place Part 2.
Quiet,
So,
please.
those are going to be our next week's movies.
Sounds good. I appreciate everybody dropping in. Please like and subscribe to our live videos, our channel on YouTube. We'll post this up there. And please, please drop us a line if you want to have specific movies reviewed by us. Then just let us know what you want to see, and then we will work on it, put it out there. Yeah, excited for the next week and the weeks to come.
Well, my name is Retro.
And I'm Matador Gabe, and this is the Retro Matador Live Podcast. Peace.
go watch the movie now.
Me too.
What you got to watch?
Well, I don't know. We're gonna try to find that one you just said.
I watched Vicious Fun. I think you would like that one. I'll show you.
I've been watching a lot of old movies.
That was the one you said let's watch, and we never watched it.
Okay, so I'll have to check it out.
It's good. I think you would really like it. It's funny. Yeah, I think you would like it. It's Vicious Fun. Yeah, Vicious Fun on Shudder.
I bet. I'll check it out.
Like 80s style. That was the one I told you where that dude ends up in like the support group with the serial killers.
Oh yeah. I definitely want to see that one.
That one's fun.